Okay guys, well I just got some news I wasn't expecting to get, but we'll get to that here in a bit. But today I really wanted to give you guys some updates both on plants. I do have some new plants in my personal collection as well as in the plant inventory for sale. A few updates on how the planty business is going and also some fur baby updates. And the biggest and most important fur baby update of them all, as you just saw, is that Toby was finally able to be buried. And I am very relieved now that that has been done. I feel like it was a big missing piece of closure that I needed. I'm still not by any means over the whole situation or done grieving or anything. I had a really rough day yesterday for some reason. I don't know. I was just like crying on and off all day, really missing him, but at least he has now been buried. My mom did come up for the funeral so that I wouldn't have to be there by myself. It was super ridiculously hot outside, but we toughed it out, and while we were there, we did go visit my past babies. And I did notice, and I'm sure some of you might have noticed too in that footage, that I don't know what is going on, but my cat Tea Tiny's headstone is like worn down like way more than the other two. And it's not even the oldest headstone. Ben's is the oldest one. And I'm thinking that it has something to do with these trees that I don't recall being there when she was buried. So there is a rather young looking tree now that is planted right over. Did you guys hear that? My fridge has been doing that, like that loud like banging noise like a few times a day, like sporadically for like the last 2 weeks. I think my fridge might be on its last leg and I really don't need to be dealing with that right now. But if you hear that again in the background, that's what that is. But back to the story. So there is a tree that is now over Tea Tiny's headstone. And like I said, I don't recall there being trees there before. And I'm thinking what might be happening is that when it rains, it's pulling things off of the tree that are caustic and are like deteriorating the headstone. And I'm really not happy about it. I'm gonna have to like call them and see if there's something that can be done about that, because those headstones are not cheap, you guys. And I don't want to have to be replacing hers like super frequently because of that. And honestly, I just kind of wish they would have reached out if they were gonna like plant a tree near her. I guess they don't have to, but I digress. So super happy that that is done. I feel like that was part of the missing piece of closure that I needed. Now, as you also saw, my mom and I did swing by PetSmart on our way home, and that was not to get things for Theo, although we did get some things for Theo. But that was actually to get some supplies because we do have another furry guest in our house at the moment, but I will touch more on that here in a bit. But first, I want to give you some planty updates. So I did go to my first plant swap in my actual town that I've ever been to this past Sunday. And I've never been to one here because honestly, I didn't know anybody was hosting any in this exact city until recently. And it was a girl who's bought multiple plants from me now had informed me about this plant swap that was going on, and that the girl that was hosting it was looking for vendors. So I had originally reached out and applied to be a vendor there to sell plants because it was happening indoors. And I really honestly have not been doing a lot of pop-up shops just because it is so hot outside and I didn't have a lot of good locations to be doing them indoors. So I was really excited about this. But the day I applied was the last day she had listed that she was accepting applications, and I never heard back. So I assumed she just already had all the people she needed. Found out later that she just never saw my application. She felt really bad about it. And so I will be a vendor at the next one next month. I say next month, it is now August. So this month, later this month, I will be a vendor at the plant swap that she's doing this month. She does apparently do these every single month. So I'm super excited about that. But I decided I want to go to the swap anyway. She did tell me I could bring 5 or less plants to offer for sale or trade. And so that's what I did. And basically I took plants from inventory that I'm overstocked on or that I've been having a hard time moving. And my plan was to try to swap them for something of equivalent value that I don't currently have in inventory so that I had more variety and I was able to move out some of those plants I'm overstocked on or just that aren't moving very well at all. However, come to find out that I guess, like, I don't know, it's kind of hit or miss at plant swaps sometimes, you guys, as to what people bring. Like, a lot of people do bring tiny propagations, cuttings, you know, not super big mature plants. Some people do bring really mature plants that they just don't want in their collection anymore. But because a lot of people bring just propagations and things like that, it's kind of hard to do a swap when you've got like a plant that's worth like, you know, like a Monstera albo that's worth $150 and somebody's got just a bunch of little propagations of everything. The number of plants they would have to swap you for that would be kind of crazy. And I really wanted slightly more established plants. So at first I was kind of like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to trade this or any of these plants. And luckily some people did want to buy them. So I did sell, I believe, 2 plants out of the ones that I brought. But I did get lucky, and there was a girl who brought a rather large Monstera Esqueleto. I always want to say Escalado, you guys. I don't know. Esqueleto. And when she brought it in, I was like, oh, that would be perfect to trade. But it looked really sad and droopy. And then she explained that she had run into Starbucks or something and left it in her car. And, you know, it's super hot here right now. Like, I think it was like 105 degrees outside yesterday. And I was like, oh no, why would you do that? It's like, don't leave your pets in your car. Don't leave your children in your car. Don't leave your plants in your car in that kind of heat. And it got a little bit droopy, but it started perking back up a bit after it got into the AC in the building. And so she was interested in a Philodendron gloriosum. And so I did trade her the Philodendron gloriosum I had brought for that Monstera Esqueleto. Now, I just said, don't leave your plants in a hot car. I honestly thought when I went to leave the plant swap that just getting in the car, already knowing it's hot in the car because it's been sitting outside, you know, not in the shade, getting heated up while I was at the plant swap. But I figured I'm immediately going to turn the AC on. I'll angle the vents at the plants and everything will be fine. Lesson learned. Do not put your plants in a car when it is this hot outside without pre-cooling your car first. So most of the plants were okay, but apparently Monstera in general are very sensitive to the heat here. Although interestingly enough, I brought, let me see here, I'm looking. I brought 3 Monstera, and of my albos, Monstera albos, of my 3 Monstera albos, only one of them had a problem with that hot car, and I only lived 12 minutes from where this plant swap happened, you guys. So it's not like they were in the car forever in high heat. But one of my Monsteras, and I'm about to grab it and show it to you. I'm so mad at myself, you guys. I'm so mad at myself. I don't know why this one was affected and the other ones weren't. The other plants that weren't Monstera did fine. They didn't skip a beat. Nobody got droopy or anything. The Esqueleto definitely got droopy. If you follow me on Instagram or Facebook at Aloha Plant Life, you will have already seen it, but it was so droopy. It has started to perk back up now. I am going to take you to show it to you here in a second. And actually, you know what? Why don't we just relocate into the kitchen? Because I also did buy 2 new plants from my own personal collection, but I'm actually going to swap some plants in my personal collection out for the ones I bought and take those ones that are currently in my personal collection and put them into my plant inventory. So from a dollar standpoint, I didn't really spend money unless you consider it spending money to add plants to inventory, if that makes sense. I may just be trying to justify this to myself. in my own mind that I didn't spend money on plants. But let's move into the kitchen so I can show you the 2 new plants I bought for myself, what happened to the poor monsteras, and then we can talk a little bit more about the plant swap in general. All right, you guys, so here is why I will always pre-cool my car moving forward before putting plants in there. And if you will recall from our second box of death unboxing, those monstera were blackened like this too. I told you I thought it might be heat damage. Turns out probably I was correct. This poor leaf got a little bit of it too. This one managed to scrape by okay. There's a little bit there and there. But you guys, the other monsteras like that I had, my other monstera albos, none of them got this. So I don't know, maybe if this one was just getting direct light rays as well, that was making it even hotter, like coming in through the window, just where it was positioned in the box of plants. I don't know, but I'm not happy about it. So the Esqueleto though, it has, like I said, perked back up. I did have to remove some blackened leaf damage like this as well, but it was only off of the newest leaf. I honestly think I'm probably gonna have to cut the newest leaf off just completely. But other than that, I think it's recovering okay. I think it's gonna bounce back. I think it's an excellent addition to my inventory. But like I said, I did also buy 2 plants. So let me set this guy back and I'll show you those next. Actually, you guys, I guess I lied. We got a little black on this one too. I just noticed when I was putting that other one back. But the rest of this one's leaves are fine. That is just annoying. Ugh. I don't know. Okay, new plants. All right, you guys, so the first plant I'm gonna show you is a Syngonium, and I have actually just been really digging on Syngoniums lately and a bunch of different variegated varieties. I do currently have 4 Syngoniums in my permanent collection, but like I said, I am gonna be swapping one of them out for this beautiful Syngonium tricolor red spot that I bought from one of the vendors at the plant swap. Look at that variegation. It gets that green, dark green, light green, and then some of that reddish, pinkish coloring in there. Just absolutely beautiful. Absolutely love it. So I am going to swap my Syngonium albo out of my collection, add that to my plant inventory that I'm selling, and then move this one in. I just cannot handle the Syngonium albos. They are like, I don't even know. They change their mood of what kind of leaf they want to put out on a daily basis, and it's just kind of aggravating me that it's so like unpredictable what that plant's going to look like. So that is why I'm going to swap it out for this one. Now the second plant that I got from a different vendor, honestly, I didn't think I would ever own one of these necessarily, but the variegation on this one just caught my eye, and the vendor did then confirm that this is in fact a White Princess tricolor. So her plant does put out pink quite frequently, and I really like how the White Princesses look when they actually go tricolor and put out that pink. Now this one, as you can see, does not have any pink yet, but look at the way that variegation is. I like how it's got a bit more of a marbled look and not just sectoral, and it just caught my eye, like I said, and I was really, really excited by it. And so I kind of left, walked around the plant swap some more, and then came back and was like, nope, I gotta have it. It's coming home with me. Now, I don't know exactly what plant I'm gonna swap out for this one yet into my inventory. I've been going back and forth between a few, but I'm not sure yet. So I'm not gonna say anything until I definitively make a decision. Now, you can see, hopefully, down there, come on camera, you see a little bit of pink down here on the stems. Little bit of pink there. That's why I was asking her, because sometimes you don't really see a lot of pink on the White Princess on the stems like that. That's why I was asking her if hers put out pink on a pretty regular basis, and she said yes. So hopefully we will get pink. This is a semi-vining philodendron, so this will grow in the same kind of growth pattern as my philodendron Red Anderson. And I honestly don't know where we're gonna put this yet, but right now they're quarantining in the kitchen. But I'm gonna go put these back in their quarantine spot, and then I'm gonna catch you up a little bit on how the planty business has been going and what that unexpected news I got at the start of this video was. All right, you guys, so as far as the planty business is going, things could be going better. I'm still not quite where I need to be monthly. I'm not like horribly off. But like I said, I haven't really been doing pop-up shops because indoor spaces were kind of limited and it's just been way too hot outside. I mean, if the plants can't tolerate the heat in my car, they're going to tolerate the heat outside right now. But I did do another purge on Facebook, and the last one, you guys know, was super successful. This one, I had to do it the weekend of the plant swap, so this past weekend, and I was kind of going back and forth. I was like, oh, people might not want to buy plants right now because they might want to wait till after the swap to see what maybe they can swap for, or maybe they're saving their money to go buy from vendors at the plant swaps. But then also I was thinking, like, a lot of people live like in Fort Worth and say it's too far to drive to me, but a lot of people will drive out here for a plant swap. So my thought was I could do the purge and say they could pick it up from me at the plant swap. I really didn't know if it was going to go well or not, but I decided let's just do it. Really did not go nearly as well as the first one, but I did make some decent sales, all to people who have already bought from me before. I'm just going to call them my loyal local customers. They know who they are. Thank you so much for your support. So like I said, could have gone better, but that's okay. I have actually been really successful in renting my pool out, like I told you guys I've been doing this summer. That has been making a lot of extra money, but unfortunately we've only got maybe 2 more months that I can be doing that. So I need to figure out what I'm going to do to increase income on the plant side of things to make up for that. But then, right as I was sitting down to record this video, I got a text from my friend who's been staying with me, and she has been paying me rent. And she has found an apartment, and she is going to be moving out on September 19th. So that was a bit of a blow, because that means pretty much after September, I'm no longer going to have that source of income from her paying rent or the income coming from renting the pool. And that's a big chunk, you guys. So I've either got to figure out a way to really ramp things up some more, or I'm probably going to have to get a part-time job. Now, I really, really, really do not want to go back into the corporate world, as you guys know. So if I do have to get a part-time job, it is not, I say it's not, it is probably not going to be in the corporate world, unless maybe it's doing some kind of consulting on my own terms or something like that. But I don't know. It's on my list of to-dos, is to kind of write out a list of possible things I could do, possible jobs, and see how it goes. So in the meantime, I am going to try to work on kind of ramping other things up, because once we get past September, it will have cooled off enough to be doing outdoor events. I did already, like I told you guys, get approved to do some local farmers markets. So I will probably start doing one of those, at least one every weekend after September, and we'll see how that goes. Once again, if you guys do want to support me and you don't live locally, I do sell more common houseplants on, and there are some semi-rare houseplants on my website, you guys, but alohaplantlife.com is my website. So if you are interested in purchasing some plants, go check that out. Also, I now have a link on my website, and you will also see it, I think it's below, somewhere below the description on all the YouTube videos, to my merch shop. So that's right. I finally got some decent samples from the merchandise company that I was working with, and we have officially launched the Aloha Plant Life merchandise. Now, this first merchandise drop is just Aloha Plant Life branded items, but I do have a good selection of various apparel, bags, drinkware, that kind of things for you guys. And hopefully you guys like the designs. I tried to pick color options that I thought people would like as well. So definitely go check that out. And definitely send me some pictures on Instagram or Facebook when you get your merch. I want to see how it turned out and know how you guys like it. Now, in addition to that, I also want to remind people that we do have channel memberships on this channel now, and we actually have quite a few members now. I didn't realize how many members we had gotten up to. I was like, oh wow, that's nice, because for a while there we were just sitting at like one person, and I love you, that one person who signed up as soon as I launched memberships and has been around since the membership started. Thank you so much. But I am going to start doing announcements on the community tab on my YouTube channel each month, announcing and welcoming our new members so everybody can see who the new members are. And just a reminder that if you are on the highest membership level, which is Botanical Besties, you do get a 5% discount off of any merchandise. So if you're thinking about buying merchandise and you're on that level, just remember your prices are actually going to be a little bit cheaper. If you're on a lower level, you can change to a higher level if you want to get that 5% discount. And just a reminder for everybody that of the 3 levels, there's Plant Pals, Foliage Friends, and Botanical Besties. Foliage Friends and Botanical Besties also get an extra video from me each month. And they actually already know what the next furry update I'm going to give you is, because they got to find out about it first in last month's members only video. But now, it's everybody else's turn to get filled in on what's been going on. So, like I said earlier in this video, we do have another furry guest staying with us. And the reason we have another furry guest staying with us is because Theo has become the wildest child ever. I mean, oh, you guys, he is so crazy. He is like, he actually reminds me of Toby when Toby was a kitten, like really young. By the time Toby got to Theo's age that he is now, he had calmed down a little. He still wasn't like, I mean, totally chill. Obviously, he was a young cat, but Theo, it's like he's trying to reclaim his kittenhood. I don't know. He has just been going nonstop. It doesn't matter how much I play with him. He does not wear out. He sleeps hardly at all during the day, which is so unusual for cats. And at least he sleeps through the night for the most part. He does wake me up a couple times in the night wanting food, and he just doesn't know how to not scarf down everything I give him when it comes to food, you guys. I can't put out extra food because he will just eat anything I put out and still wake me up wanting food in the middle of the night. It's ridiculous. I'm hoping over time that will get better, like as he realizes, oh, there's always going to be more food. It's not like when I was on the streets having to fend for myself, but we'll see. So it has been a little bit crazy around here. It has been really hard to get things done, especially like video editing and things like that, because he just constantly wants to mess with everything. Every day he starts doing something new that's not good, like turning all the furniture into his own personal jungle gym, finding out how to get up on top of the kitchen cabinets, as you guys saw in the last video. It's just always something, and I'm like, really? What are we doing now? And most of the time I feel like it's to get my attention because he just wants to play all the time. And even if he wants to sleep, he wants to sleep on me, which prevents me from being able to do things. So I kind of got to thinking, I wonder if having a furry friend would help the situation. And I know some of you have been telling me since the beginning, remember, they do better in pairs. And it is true, kittens actually do better in pairs. Kittens, when they're really young, need to be adopted with another cat. Otherwise, they don't get properly socialized. But already socialized cats, when they're his age, like they can be okay without another cat or another animal in the household. But honestly, when I had that thought, you guys, I really didn't know if it would help or not. Another thing that was really concerning to me was he has been so crazy that I was wondering if he was going to be one of those cats that just roughs houses like too much with other cats. Toby was one of those cats, like when he was a kitten, well, his whole life, he just like was so rough with the other cats. Like he would latch onto them, bite their necks. Like it was crazy. And he never like even remotely thought about biting or scratching a human. So I don't know why he was so crazy with other cats. And I just had a feeling that that's how Theo might be. So I didn't just want to go commit to adopting another cat and not know how he was going to react. Now I have been following the rescue group that I adopted him from on Facebook. So I see all the pets that go up for adoption. And around the time that I had this thought, there was another pet that went up for adoption that was a year old. Just a reminder, Theo is a year and a half, a little bit more now, but it was a year and a half when I adopted him. And I like the idea that he was not an actual kitten, because if I think he's crazy, kittens are kittens are a whole nother level of crazy. So I wanted to get a cat, if I was going to adopt another cat, that was similar in age to him. And this big old giant fluffy cute fur baby showed up on their site, and I was like, this might be the one. And they said he was really chill. I was like, okay, you told me Theo was chill too when I adopted him, but look what happened. And just a reminder, you guys, Theo was sick, quite sick, before he came to me, and still a little sick when he came to me. So I don't know if maybe that's why he seemed so much more chill, because he still wasn't like 100% healthy. I don't know. So I reached out to the rescue group and I basically said, here's what's going on. Can I possibly bring this cat home and see kind of how they do together, and basically just take over fostering this cat? And then if things work out, I'll adopt him. But meanwhile, you keep him listed for adoption. And if somebody else wants to adopt him, then I would just have to make a decision on whether I was going to keep him or let them adopt him. And so they agreed to do that. So I did bring home Chad, was the name they'd given him, which, and even the members on the channel don't know this yet because I didn't find it out till after I recorded that members only video. His name actually was not supposed to be Chad. Theo's foster mom was also his foster mom, and she named him Chet, like C-H-E-T. But when she took him to get his rabies shot, the vet screwed up and put Chad on the rabies tag, so she changed his name to Chad to match the rabies tag. But regardless, it doesn't matter. I haven't been calling him Chad because he never responded to the name Chad, like since he's gotten to this house. So he has been renamed George/Georgie. I just switched back and forth between the two, but he has definitely been more responsive to that name. So I don't know if maybe that was actually his name before, because he was brought in as a stray. He was chipped, or I guess I should say he is chipped. He is fixed. So he was owned by somebody, but whoever it was apparently never registered the chip. So they couldn't find the owners and they never came looking for him. So George has been here for a while now. Let me check exactly how long, you guys, because I don't even know where the time goes. I can't believe it's almost the end of summer. Like, it's crazy. Give me 1 second. Okay, so he has been here for 3 weeks now. Now, I did keep him for the first week in a separate room, in the separate living room upstairs. I put a litter box and everything up there, and I wanted to kind of slowly introduce the two of them, but I wanted him to have his own room for a while, so, you know, he wasn't just feeling overwhelmed. So for the first week, we just slowly introduced, and Theo just got to hang out with him in that room. And I will let you know kind of what we did after that and how things have been going here in a second, but let me go ahead and go introduce you to George first. Hi, George. Hello. How are you doing? So this is George. George, why are you going behind me? People can't see you when you do that. There you are. Hi. So this is George. George is a big old boy. I don't know how well you're going to be able to tell. If Theo decides to come make an appearance, you'll have reference point. But super cute little gray tuxedo cat with some gorgeous little turquoise, light turquoise eyes. Yes, you're very, very cute. And as you can tell, or maybe not tell, let me move around this way. He is kind of a medium length fur cat, so not long fur like Toby was, but his fur is nowhere near as short as Theo's, but he is super duper soft like Toby was for sure. Hi there, Georgie. Hi. Hey, cutie. But very, very sweet, affectionate, as you can see. Totally, totally just a big old sweetheart, kind of like Toby was. He does like to play when Theo will let him play with toys. There's a little bit of a power struggle going on there still. But once again, just a amazingly sweet, awesome cat. So let me go get you caught back up on how everything else has been going. Okay, so like I said, for the first week, George just stayed in the upstairs living room, and then I started letting him out during the day and wander around the house, but I still kept him in there at night because I didn't know what Theo was going to be like in the middle of the night with him. So for the next week or so, maybe not even a full week, he still stayed up there at night, and then I started letting him stay out at night, and things started off a bit rocky, you guys. Obviously, Theo was like, what's this? There's another cat here. Like, I don't know. You know, he was a little bit hissy, a little bit swatty. And George just kind of didn't care. George was just like, whatever. You know, he really is truly a chill, laid back cat. They did not lie on that one. He is so chill. He reminds me a lot more of Toby as an adult, which is funny. So I guess if you combine George and Theo, I basically have Toby at all life stages. But he's just the biggest sweetheart, you guys. And those turquoise eyes, oh my gosh, they're gorgeous. And it cracks me up too because their meows are so different. I think I probably have some footage I can put in here. What do we want? Which kind? What do we want? You want the wet food? Let me figure it out. Okay, how about we do tuna and crab? Does that sound good? Y'all are so demanding. So demanding. Okay, so that's when they get their wet food treat in the middle of the day. And as you can see, like, even though George is this huge, tall, big old cat, he's got this high-pitched meow. And then Theo's got his little, like, rough, deeper meow. It's so weird. It's so drastically different. I feel like their meows should be reversed based off of their size. But anyways, so yeah, I started letting him out. And over time, they kind of started to get used to each other. Theo did have a little bit of food aggression at first. Like, he wouldn't let George near the water bowls, the food bowls, anything. Just this week, just in the last 2 days, I have managed to get them to eat side by side without having a problem. Now, if George does not finish his food at the same time or before Theo, Theo will try to steal George's food, but it's still an improvement. So we are getting better. Things are getting better. However, I was right. Theo is an extremely rough player, and George is way bigger than him. Well, I guess not too much bigger, but you know what I mean. He could put him in his place. He chooses not to put him in his place. He does, like, you know, hiss at him and swat at him and tell him, like, no, I don't want to play like this. And for the most part, Theo doesn't listen to him. And so then George tries to go hide somewhere from him. And he was hiding under the couches in the upstairs living room. I have since closed the doors off during the day because I didn't want him spending like 5 hours a day under the couch because he felt like he was terrorized by Theo. He needed to like learn how to say no. And so in the last week, it has gotten a little bit better. I feel like Theo is recognizing when George is like, I've had enough, dude. You need to chill. And I did wake up 2 nights ago to them just chasing each other back and forth through the house with no hissing, no growling, no crying, no nothing. And I was like, this is what I need. I need you guys just to play with each other and wear each other out when I'm busy doing things for work and whatnot. So I'm still not 100% certain if we're gonna keep him or not. I mean, I'm definitely getting attached, so no lie there. But I will definitely let you guys know what happens in the future. But in the meantime, welcome George, possibly permanently, to the Planty fam. Okay, so one more Planty update that I want to give you guys is regarding the second box of dead plants from Aroid Asia. So I mentioned before, Aroid Asia had offered to reship all the plants again. I also found the form to file a claim for damage of property with the USDA. I'm still just working on getting all of the documentation they want together because it's always a ridiculous amount of stuff and stuff they don't even really probably need, you guys. I feel like they just make it difficult so that you're less likely to actually do it, but that's not deterring me. I'm doing it. So once I get that turned in and everything, I will let you know if anything comes of that. And also, Aroid Asia did tell me that, okay, I gotta go back a little ways. So I had reached out and asked them before that box arrived if they were ever gonna start carrying Philodendron El Choco Reds, because I've never seen them on their site, but there's a big demand in this area for them, and they're just really popular right now in general, and I've never seen them around here. So I was just curious if they were potentially gonna start carrying them, and he had asked me, my contact had asked me, well, if we did carry them, like how many do you think you would be buying, how frequently, all those kinds of things. And I was like, well, first I would just want to buy like probably 10 at first for inventory, kind of see how they ship and see how quickly I can move them and things like that. And I said, now also it depends on what your price is as to whether I would actually buy them or not, because it's got to be priced by them at a level that I can then competitively sell it here and still make money, right? So I was like, well, I'm just curious if it's something you might consider carrying. And he said he would talk to his boss. So I was like, all right. Well, he did then reach out after I had finished filming the second box of death video for you guys. He reached out and told me not only were they going to send me replacements for all the plants in that box again, but that he was going to send me at no charge the El Choco Reds. And I was like kind of shocked. I was like, oh, well, that's really nice. So I guess they do have El Choco Reds. So I'm not sure what the whole story here is, if they just went and sourced some from somewhere for me, or if maybe they've been building inventory on them, but they haven't launched it on their site yet because they hadn't built the inventory to the level that they wanted. I'm not really sure what the story is, but I thought that was a very nice gesture from them. Hopefully this shipment will come in okay. He did ask me about how the weather was here right now, so I have a feeling they're going to hold off shipping them until it cools off a bit. I am not going to let UPS, DHL, whoever the heck is delivering it, I am not going to let them actually deliver it to me. I am going to go make the trek, and I think I have to go to Denton. I think that's the closest pickup facility, you guys. I may be wrong. It used to be. I know I used to have to go to Denton to pick things up, but that's why I never like say just hold it at UPS or DHL or wherever. I really don't know where DHL's pickup place is, but I usually don't do that because it's usually pretty far away from me. But given the heat and everything, I don't want it sitting on a truck like all day long like it was this last time when it's hot. So I will go pick it up from wherever it is. But once again, it still took, let's see, 12, 13, 9 days just to get to the DHL facility here. And honestly, on DHL's not DHL, sorry, it was UPS this time. You guys know what I meant. On UPS's tracking, it went straight like from DFW airport, so obviously it came in on a plane, to out for delivery. It didn't show anything in between. So if that was the case, I don't know that I would have been able to go pick it up from the airport. I don't know, you guys. It was weird. I will say one thing for DHL, their tracking details are way more detailed than UPS's. And yes, I have the login because I know like you get more detailed if you create an account and log in on UPS. But even when I'm logged in, there's just big gaps and things that makes no sense. So I really do prefer DHL's tracking system and the details that they provide better. But either way, you guys, both of them took forever to get here. And honestly, DHL's until that last shipment from DHL where they just held it and nobody seemed to be able to find it in the warehouse for like 7 days, which wouldn't have mattered. Like I could have been like, I'll come pick it up, but if you don't know where it is, I can go out there. You're not going to be able to give it to me, if you know what I mean. Before that, DHL wasn't that bad. I think the longest they were in a box was 8 days prior to that. And I've done like, let's see, I've had 5. Well, if you count the first shipment they ever gave me of free plants back in January, I've done 6 shipments with them. So for these last 2 to have these massive problems, which were mostly carrier related and this last one USD related, for that to just be those last 2, like it's not like it was that bad before, especially when the max days that had been in box was 8. Now I know a bunch of you were saying yours were only in a box for 4 days. I don't know why. I don't know what kind of shipping they're doing when it's coming to you from different companies, not Aroid Asia, mind you. It seems to me there should be a way to get them here quicker, but once again, I don't know. It's just been these last 2 boxes that were a problem, and I'm really hoping that this next one is okay, and hopefully, you know, those El Choco Reds come in okay as well. But that was a very nice gesture on their behalf. They are aware that I am going to want a full refund if these come in not good again. And I am trying to get them to ship them more quickly. But once again, I don't think they're going to want to ship them until we get out of August, which normally it takes them about 4 weeks to ship, period. So I probably won't be getting these, I'm guessing, until in September. But once again, I will definitely keep you guys updated. But I think that's all of the planty and furry updates that I have for you guys at the moment. So I hope you have enjoyed this video. If so, please be sure to click that like and or subscribe button down below. And I look forward to seeing you again next time. Aloha!